you don't take good care of your brushes, they're gonna end up like sticks. Solid, not worth the money you paid for them. So in this video, I'm gonna show you how to take care of your brushes, how to clean them, how to keep them in great shape, and to do it in the most environmentally friendly way that I know how to do. So there's a few things I have here. One is called Gutter Guard. This is plastic gutter guard. It's great for wiping your brush across to get stuff off of it, and that happens best inside of Gamsol, vegetable oil, which I have 2 jars of, one labeled dirty, one labeled clean, and then the fail-safe. I like to use this Brush Flush paint brush cleaner. It's really good stuff, and that is how I get my brushes clean if I do something crazy like walk out of the room and a week later remember, oh yeah, I left some brushes in there. So in the middle of a painting, what you're going to be using is Gamsol, or an odorless mineral spirit. This is the one I prefer because it evaporates relatively slowly and it's pure. It's way more health friendly than turpentine. So odorless mineral spirits, Gamsol, made by Gamblin. And what I've done is I've taken some Gutter Guard and I've cut it to the size of the jar. And I did this also with the vegetable oil, which I'll be showing you how to use in just a little bit. What you want to do is size this up and put the Gutter Guard at the size of the jar, get the height right. And I can cut those with scissors easily enough. And that's going to be too tall, it's not going to fit in. I want a little bit lower than the height of the jar lid. And from there, I can then open up the jar, shove it in. Now, when I'm making a painting, a Gamsol, or odorless mineral spirits, is the way that I'll be diluting the paint for the lean layers, but also it works great for taking paint off the brush, and then I can wipe it on a rag or something like that, and then just keep painting. But at the end of the day, when I want to clean my brush, then I can do it with vegetable oil, get off a whole lot of paint in a much more environmentally friendly way than you having to use odorless mineral spirits, because this will just soak up so much of the pigment. So say I've got a whole bunch and I'm getting my brush nice and grubby with paint on it. The first step is going to be take a rag and physically remove the paint off. And I pinch it and squeegee it just like that. And then I'm going to go to the jar labeled dirty, has Gutter Guard cut for it, and I'm going to scrub on the surface of the vegetable oil, just getting my hairs of my brush underneath enough to take off a lot of the paint. And you can see already that's taken off a good amount of the paint. And I'm going to wipe it off on the side of the jar like that. And then I'm going to go to the clean vegetable oil. Since most of the paint is off, this one will stay a lot cleaner. And then I'm going to rub this both sides of the hairs of the brush on that one, on the side of the jar. Once again, wipe it off. And then I've got a brush with a whole lot less paint on it than when I began. Now, from there, what I can do is I go to the sink, and I'm going to, I didn't have to get my brush wet, I probably shouldn't have done that, but I'm going to squirt in maybe a quarter size amount of soap, and I'm going to run my brush around in circles on my preferably gloved hand, and do that until the paint is gotten off, the oils have gotten out. And really right now I'm just cleaning off vegetable oil, which is something that Dawn dish soap is great at. If I skip the vegetable oil step, then I'll be spending a lot more time in the soap stage, and soap is much more expensive than vegetable oil. And so if I go through the early steps correctly with the vegetable oil, then I'm making life much easier on myself at this stage. So I'm rubbing that around and all the paint's already gotten off there. It could take you 1 or 2 more steps of using soap and then rinsing it, but I think we've got a very nice brush here. Now this one was one that someone hadn't really cleaned very well before I used it, but it is back in really good working order. Now if I do get a brush that, and I'm gonna dry this off like this, and then if I want to make sure that that's a really good chisel tip, I can do this. I can take cardstock and pinch it, fold it over like that, I'm gonna put a clip on the end first, like that, open up the cardstock, and then I'll gently press the brush into there, and that'll give me a good chisel tip on the end of the brush, which I can then lay down flat on my palette and let it dry like that. And when I come back to it, it'll have a nice point to it, and that can be really handy. If a brush gets into really bad shape because you forgot to clean it, or you didn't clean it well, or someone else didn't clean a brush well and you found it and they threw it out and you thought, I can salvage that, one of the best ways to do that is this thing called Brush Flush paintbrush cleaner. And I've seen it take pretty lousy brushes and make them really good. Now there are some brushes that are so far gone, I don't think it can work on this one. But if I've got something that's not quite so solid, then I'll use this, and it's really saved a lot of brushes that I have thought were dead and really had a good bit of life left in them. So Brush Flush paintbrush cleaner, they are not paying me to say this, but it's a great product. So that's how I clean my brushes, and I hope this helps you out a lot and that it makes your brushes last a really long time, which they can do if you take good care of them. See you around.